to a podcast for nerds. It's the show where these two dudes that met as kids discuss our journey with all things nerdy as well as life in our 30s. I'm Dakota.
And I'm Cody.
I like having fun with the intro.
I know. I've noticed that when I'm editing it, I notice every time you do something crazy. That's not so bad. The one you did where you're like, listening through that, I was like, I thought to myself, if this was my first episode, I wouldn't get through this intro. I'd be like, no, I'm not into this one.
I like having fun with it because how many times can we be like, welcome to a podcast for nerds, the show where two dudes that met as kids discuss our journey with all things nerdy as well as life in our 30s. I'm Dakota.
I mean, that's what all podcasts do, though.
I know, but I like to have fun with it.
Right. I feel you.
Like, I kind of like when Rhett and Link, they still, to this day, they're like, good mythical morning.
Yeah. And on Ear Biscuits, they're always like, welcome to the it's kind of similar to ours. It's not welcome to the show where two dudes. It's welcome back to Ear Biscuits, the show where two lifelong friends, something. I can't remember what it is. It's similar, though, but...
Uh-oh, did we steal from Rhett and Link again?
Accidentally this time, if we did. I don't remember what it is, though. I can't remember how similar it is. I'm not sure.
And how many times have we stolen from Rhett and Link by accident? Well, not by accident, but like...
Well, yeah, one was totally on purpose.
Yeah. But that was because they used to encourage that back then.
Yeah, weekday one up. Can you imagine if we would have kept doing weekday one up? Now look, I know it's my fault. Weekday one up ended. But I'm just saying, if we would have kept doing it and just made it better and better, because when I look back on it now, I'm like, show's not that good. Main issue, other than technical stuff, was that we just didn't spend enough time preparing for it and thinking about what we would just arrive and be like, oh, what are we talking about? And then we'd try to do like a concise, I think that works better in a podcast because you can let it flow. But that concise video.
Well, YouTube's algorithm back then was they loved that golden, just a 10-minute video. Now it's, you got to have the hour-long videos and all that.
It's just interesting because that channel was having growth. Maybe we should bring that back. Maybe we should do that instead of this. No, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we had like 2,000 subscribers at one point.
That's what I mean. It was growing. Some of that was coming from convention reviews for sure, but not all of it.
No, we had our own audience.
There were definitely people. I remember talking to people who found convention reviews because of Weekday One Up.
We had people in Ireland watching us. I mean, we were getting some traction.
When you got the Irish watching you, you're something. Guys, I don't know if you can hear that or not because the mics are so good. I think this is the first time we've had a train go by since we started this show. Yeah, incredible. I'm not sure if you're still able to hear it,
all the time on Weekday One Up.
It looks like the mics aren't picking it up, so it may not matter. I guess we'll see when I listen back to it.
Well, our topic today...
Well, wait. Actually, we started talking about Weekday One Up. I kind of want
to... That's what I'm getting to. Our topic today, which one did we pick?
We were going to talk about, and we still could, anime that needs a reboot.
Okay, so we'll talk about that, but... Weekday One Up was also a topic, so we brought it up. Today's topic is Weekday One Up. And what is Weekday One Up, Cody?
Well, Weekday One Up is actually crazy. We definitely talked about anime that need a reboot on Weekday One Up.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Actually, something we should do when looking at topics for the show is just scroll back and look at everything we ever talked about on Weekday One Up and be like, is this still a good topic or was this stupid? And if it's still good and we have something new to say.
You know what our most trafficked video ever was?
I have it written down to talk about it again.
It's Otaku versus Weeaboo.
Right?
And we didn't know what we were talking about back then.
I watched that video. Have you watched it recently?
I feel like I did when I went down a little rabbit hole last year.
It's so dumb. It has a lot of dislikes. Or like you can't see it now because,
I mean, we got like 50,000 views or something crazy, didn't we?
It might. I'm not sure if it's still public.
I mean, that's not a lot in the grand scheme, but for like two small YouTubers.
No, I think it was bigger than that.
I mean, we got a lot of traffic on that one video.
I think it was over 100K for sure. Let me see. Otaku versus How many can there be, right?
Yeah.
Weeaboo.
I mean, it's YouTube.
Oh. Nope. There's many. There are many.
You think?
Where's ours?
Surely we were the only people who talked about it.
One up. I mean, it's okay. Here it is. Oh, okay. I was definitely blowing out of proportion. It is 87,000.
So yeah, that's a lot of traffic for especially us back then.
Yeah, this
And
channel
I'm sure
has,
these things get the occasional view here and there from a random person.
right.
Like, not all of them, but stuff like that.
The last video we did was on weekday one. Oh, we should say, yeah, you're right. Sorry, we never even said it. Weekday one up was kind of like this, where we both sat at a table and we discussed things. But the difference is, instead of being a long form podcast type show,
We would typically go no more than 30 minutes.
max.
Mhm.
If
That was
I don't think we
rare.
ever we rarely got there. Normally, I'd say it was 8 to 15, and then sometimes something would happen where we would go,
Go up
over.
to the occasional 20, but
Yeah.
30 was rare. But yeah, it was typically Good Mythical Morning style.
Yeah, if you've ever seen Good Mythical Morning, it's literally that. We had a desk, we sat side by side. I think Dakota was on the same side that Rhett was on,
Yeah. Or no, I was on the Link side.
which makes no sense because we always thought you and Rhett kind of looked similar. But
I even had people at Yomicon one time, 2015, come up to me. Two girls came up and they're like, "Who do people tell you look like?" And I was like, "What a weird way to start a conversation."
did you say Rhett?
And I was like, "I don't know. Who do I look like?" And they're like, "You look like Rhett." And I was like, "Okay, cool, bye."
They said that?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
They're like, "Okay." I was like, they were being flirty, and I didn't want to be flirty.
Oh, but you always had more of a chin than Rhett did.
I don't have a chin. What are you talking about?
More than Rhett?
I mean, it's
Have you
there.
seen Rhett's chin? It's literally like
pretty, it's
gone.
pretty
There's
non-existent.
nothing.
I don't have a very strong chin either.
right.
Like that's part of the reason I let my chin hair.
Right. It's why Dakota doesn't shave.
Part of the reason, yeah,
Really?
yeah, it's because I don't have I got a weak chin. It's not like a no chin. It's not like Ed from Ed, and Eddie, but
Or Ed from 90 Day Fiance. You know what I'm talking about, right?
yeah, Big Ed.
Yeah, Big Ed.
He ain't got no neck.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, we thought we're gonna take Good Mythical Morning's format and we're gonna adapt it into a nerdy version, which I think that type of show could and maybe has worked on other channels who weren't as clear that that's what they're doing, but it's still similar. The only problem is at that time
We did a lot. We've got like over 100 videos.
Yeah, I was shocked when I looked how many we did.
We did a lot. We were
But-
committed to it.
Yeah, we really did a ton. But the problem was we weren't putting in enough work, I feel like. We weren't concerned with the quality so much, or we were and didn't know. I feel like back then there was a lot of stuff that like and I'll say I especially because I was always the video guy. I just didn't know a lot about lighting back then. I didn't know a lot about making the audio sound better. We thought we just turn on some lights randomly and put a mic in front of us.
Put the Yeti mic on its surround sound. It'll pick us both up.
And it would sound terrible. And the lighting would be really bad, especially in that studio.
Now, to be fair,
Well,
Rhett and Link only had one mic too, but they had a very
expensive
This is
mic.
just a standard Yeti like this one.
And Red and Link don't really have one mic. It looks like they do, but I saw a studio tour someone did there. They have shotgun mics and all kinds of mics all over that are picking everything up. And so they'll switch between those depending on what's happening. But it doesn't look like that. So
That makes
yeah.
sense. I'd like to at one point in the future, if we could, get mics that hang down.
That would be sick.
And we can just kind of.
Yeah. But basically we stopped that show.
And that was not my choice.
Yeah.
I'll make that clear right now, and that's not me throwing you under the bus. But
No.
that was not my choice. I was fully ready to ride that till we died.
We died.
I was
still
ready
be doing it today.
I would if we hadn't moved on.
I mean-
maybe some form. I don't know about. Maybe we would, and maybe it'd be like GMM for nerds. But
Right.
yeah, I was ready to ride that thing until I was ready to bleed it dry.
I think I could have I was very committed in the beginning, but as time went on, became
you
less
were-
and less. There was a lot happening.
You were doing that. You were editing multiple 5 weekday one-ups a week.
Yeah. Well, we went down to
On-
3 at some point,
Mhm.
but
and then
that helped. But
and then your vlog, constantly having to upload something to Convention Reviews to keep that channel
right.
going.
I was uploading a lot back then. plus a job. Not
Yeah.
a full-time job, but we were doing like, that was at Michael's at the time. We were doing like 30 something hours.
25, 30 hours. But I mean, and it was early morning. So we would have the whole day, but we'd be tired during the day.
Yeah.
There'd be times where I'd come over here right after work and we'd do stuff.
And I honestly was just not good at time management back then. Just legitimately, I wasn't. I'm much more habitual now. I know when I'm going to have time to work on stuff. And back then, I think I really overwhelmed myself and pushed myself to like burn out hard on stuff.
And that caused you, because we had this, which this channel is Nakamacast.
Yeah, we changed this
channel.
channel.
Scroll back far enough, you'll find the old Nakamacast episodes. Don't watch them. Oh man, I thought you'd laugh at that.
Because I was thinking, do we want them not to watch them? Because I was thinking maybe they could. But if we warn them that they're bad.
They're not good. The audio quality is trash. Don't watch Table Topics. For the love of God,
that is the worst audio.
Do not watch Table Topics.
The fact that anyone watched that stuff, man, it blows my mind. How some people were really committed to the channels.
The audio quality is trash. The opinions are trash.
I totally agree with that too.
The only people who didn't have trash opinions were probably Nate.
Yeah, I can't remember, but
like he just would have opinions that we wouldn't agree with, but they weren't trash. You and I both would, like, I would have a trash opinion or you would have a trash opinion.
And then we would yell over each other's trash opinions and yell over Nate. If Nate was there actually giving a normal opinion, yeah.
Nate, I feel bad. Every time I listen to him, we constantly are interrupting that guy.
I feel like such a douche, yeah. When I'm like, Nate, that's stupid. No, Nate,
you were like that a lot back then, even on Weekday One Up.
I hate that. That's one of the things, like...
And I think that's why you and I got into so many arguments, because I would get butthurt by it.
Yeah, we don't argue that much anymore.
No, well, it's because I think
we don't hang out as much either, but...
Yeah, we were seeing... And we saw each other constantly back then.
We worked together.
Rode to work together. I was here doing Weekday One Up a couple times a week. Convention reviews. I was going to cons. I mean, we were with each other constantly. There was not a week that went by where we didn't see each other.
Yeah, very rarely.
And so, naturally, you're going to butt heads.
But it didn't help. I think my attitude specifically, I think your attitude as well, I think you've changed over the time too, but I think mine specifically really caused problems.
I think back then you had the I am correct.
Yeah.
And there is no arguing about that.
Definitely.
No matter what it is. Like, I told you one time, this is not on Weekday One Up. This is an example of the kind of arguments we would get in. They were always stupid. But I'm not trying to be like, remember when you were a douche, Cody? That's not what I'm trying to do. But just as an example. So we were talking and I mentioned something about how Russia is the only country that takes up 2 continents, where part of it's in Europe and the other part is in...
Oh, but it's not.
It's not?
Turkey.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't
Asia
know.
and Europe.
See, I didn't know
but
about
I didn't
Turkey.
know that back then.
So anyway, you did not believe me.
Really?
Would not believe me.
Did I not? I think what I didn't believe back then, I don't remember, but I remember my thoughts on Russia, though. I thought that Russia was just an European, no Asia. Maybe that's what I was arguing?
No, because I said it's the only one that, I think you were saying it's all Asian, an all Asian country. As I think what you're like, no, it's all Asia, isn't
I
it?
feel like I was saying it was all...
It was one.
One or the other, for sure. Yeah,
like,
all
no,
something.
it takes up, like, a small portion of it is in Europe, and it's a European, and then the huge chunk is in Asia, and you're like, no, it's all one thing, dude. It doesn't take place. And I was like, no, I swear. And then you wouldn't believe me. You were like, to the point where you're like, I don't really believe you. I'll look that up on my own when I get home. You didn't, I don't think you worded it quite like that, but that was more or less what you said.
I've been that way a lot, where when people say something, I have to look it up.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still am that way to an extent, but not, I don't think nearly as harsh about it.
Yeah,
nearly as bad.
Now it's more, I feel like your attitude is more like, looking into that for myself. I don't know if I trust that. Oh yeah, I guess he's right.
Well, I think my attitude, what changed was, I think back then it's like, I, for some reason, just believed I'm right about everything. And now I realize that I am right about some things, but I'm also wrong about a lot of things. So I'm open to...
That's character growth.
Yeah, I'm open to be corrected. Absolutely. And I think one of the biggest things that changed that, of course, living in Philippines, and I don't know what happened over there, but just being in another environment and things can change you in that way. But also looking back at the old videos and just being able to see myself, it's like, dude, why did anyone watch this? Why did anyone hang around me? Is what I think when I see it, because I'm like, he is just.
I think part of that was, I think a lot of it was you trying to be funny.
I thought I was so funny back then.
And you were. Like, you honestly, a lot of my funniest laughs have come from you making me laugh. And same,
Thanks,
you and
man.
I have spent literally 20 years making each other laugh.
Yeah.
Over 20 years. Just and we know the buttons to push to make each other laugh.
Right.
I know what you're going to find fun. Like, I walked in today holding my microphone, and I said, I forgot my mic. Because I knew he'd find that funny.
And I just laughed again. And it was funny because I sent him a message this morning because he did forget his mic once on the way.
Mhm.
So I was just like, I'll throw him a message and was like, don't forget your mic. But
And I got it, and I walked in, had it in my hand, and said, bro, I forgot my mic.
I love that deadpan stuff. I think because it's what I like to do as well. But
I think you're the reason I do deadpan humor a
Yeah.
lot, is because, I don't know, deadpan stuff is the best.
it's so funny. I didn't realize that that's what I did a lot until we started hanging out with Shelby. And then Shelby was like, bro, your deadpan is so good. And I was like, what's that mean? I didn't even know what that meant.
I think that's years of you and I practicing deadpan
I think
off
so.
each other.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty good at deadpan as well.
Yeah.
I think you're a little better, because I break. I
can hold it together pretty well.
I break, because like at work one time, my old job, there was this lady there that I used to mess with. Like, I'd go and like throw a piece of paper at her, stuff like that, or she'd come up and shove me, and I'd shove her, stuff like that. Well, one time I'm standing there because I work right behind her, and I don't know what happened. She goes, turned on, she goes, "Did you throw something at me?" And I went, "No." And she went, "You did too." And I went, "No, I didn't." And she, I said, "You know how you can tell that I didn't do it, Teresa?" She went, I said, "Because I would have broken by now if I would have. I'd be laughing already."
Right.
I started laughing at myself because the situation's funny, but
I think I do the same thing now, though. I think I'm not as good at deadpan anymore because I find it all the time where I'm trying to do like deadpan jokes that I would have been before, and I just start like my mouth starts like twitching, like
because you're like, "Oh, it's gonna be fun. The reveal's gonna be funny," and it
Yeah.
is every time.
I'm like, I'm getting them right now, and that gets me, and I start laughing.
My wife is really good at deadpan.
Really?
Like, she gets me a lot, to the point where like I'll get frustrated by accident.
That's funny.
And then she's like, "I wasn't being serious." And then I'm like, "Oh, I thought you were." And she's like, "I need to be an actress."
I think that's another issue with me back then. I would like for people to get frustrated. It felt like I did a good job with the deadpan, and then reveal it later. But now I don't like to take it that far anymore.
You like to really push people.
Yeah, I don't like to
back
take it
then.
that far now.
And you were very much into troll culture back then.
Well, in person, I was never a troll online.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
want to
yeah,
be
yeah,
clear.
yeah.
I never was trolling on people like in comments or something like that.
Oh,
But yeah,
we've all done that. Let's be honest. We've all trolled online. But
I mean like light trolling. But
oh
not
yeah,
like,
yeah. I'm not like bully trolling.
Yeah, no, never. I never did anything.
No,
like that.
I'd always do light trolling, like or logic trolling,
Yeah.
like
But-
arguments with people on Lord of the Rings page.
Oh, I don't. I actually have I have like a self rule now that I just don't comment. I very rarely comment. I commented on your post the other day asking if you had watched Everything Everywhere All at Once, and I think that's the first comment I had left in a couple months. I don't comment on anything.
I comment on posts occasionally, but it's usually stuff that like I feel like I should comment. Not that my comments, it's just stuff I feel like I want. Like, oh, what did I? Oh, it's usually again little trolly things. Like I saw a picture of Jonathan Majors, the actor, and he's a fine actor. But every time you see him now, he's always making the same duck face expression. Always.
Right.
So picture of him popped up, and I commented, there he is with that same duck face expression he always has. That's the kind of shit I comment.
I see.
Stuff.
I guess I don't like to comment because I feel like comments always turn into something nowadays. Like whenever I go through comments, reading any social media, I'll read one where I'm like, yeah, that's an interesting take. That's cool. I want to hear the replies. Within 2 replies, someone is starting an argument, and it just devolves into nothing.
I think I kind of enjoy, I really enjoy arguing with people on the Lord of the Rings page that I'm in, because I know a lot about Tolkien stuff.
Mm.
Not an expert, but I know a lot. And then there are people that will come in and they'll say something as if it's fact, and I'm like, no.
You're gonna learn today.
Yeah. You are wrong. And then they are like, no, I'm right. And I'm like,
Here we go. I think another thing that changed for me with that, which has to do with the comments as well, is I just really dislike confrontation now. I don't know when that changed or what happened to make that change, because I used to get in confrontation all the time. I didn't mind it at all. But now if I feel a confrontation coming, I try to like, what is it? Disarm? I lower the tension of the situation.
I think it's dissolve?
Dissolve the situation,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah, try to like, just like, hey, everything's cool. Like, let's just back off from this.
You know, I've been kind of trying to do that too. Like I went to a little birthday party last night for a friend, and another friend was there, and the one, I'm trying to not be specific with names, but the one friend who was a girl, she made a we'll say slightly insensitive joke, but it really was more one of those ones where you could tell she was joking. It was an obvious joke, but the joke she made is something that the guy she made it towards, he feels very passionate and serious about.
Oh, so it very much did not land.
It didn't land, so it took both of us, and he yelled at her.
Oh.
Like, he's like, that doesn't exist!
Oh.
And we both had to be like, she was about to get upset, and I finally had to go and diffuse. That's the word you're looking for. Diffuse. I had to go and diffuse the situation where I finally was like, dude, it was just a joke. Maybe in poor taste, and everything's fine, but she was just trying to joke with you. Okay? And I hugged, and I was like, it's all right. Nobody's mad. Nobody's trying to offend anybody. It was all just jokes. You know, it's all just ball busting.
See, I hate that as well. Like, I don't know. Like, for me, if someone says something to me about something I'm really passionate about, make some kind of joke.
Know.
Even if they do know, I just kind of like, okay, you know. I've just reached a point where I'm like, everybody's different, everybody's got different opinions and care about different things. Like, you can go off and think what you. I'm not out here trying to change anybody's mind. I think I reached a point where I realized nobody's changing their mind, at least not easily. I'm not gonna be able to do it.
Well, I see what you're saying, because I do the same thing with my a cousin of mine. She always has the same every time I bring up watching anime. She has the same argument every time. Her only experience with anime is Pokemon, and then seeing clips of people screaming in Dragon Ball. So her experience is, she said, all anime is people going ah, ooh, ah, ee, and that's
that's true.
but that's her argument every time it's brought up, and that's her argument style.
Okay.
Is anytime something that she wants to argue about is brought up, she'll just bring up the same point that, like, I've never heard that point. So it gets to the point where I'm just like, yeah, anime. So she'll be like, anime, and I'm like, yep, sure, does that.
I mean, that's how I feel. Yeah, I just like laugh it off. I'm like, yeah, whatever. It doesn't bother me at all.
I more laugh at the ignorance.
Yeah, like, I think the only time is when it's someone that I'm really close to. Like, if you had because we've been friends for so long. If you did something or said something where I feel like, I don't know what you know what you're talking about.
Well, you need to call your friends out on things.
But with people that I'm not close to, I don't know well, I don't care.
Yeah.
Just think what you want. I don't care at all.
Yeah, that's kind of like with my cousin. That's why, I used to argue hard with her, but now I'm just like,
I just don't see the point. You're going to argue your whole life if you just want to argue with people who have dumb opinions about things. Like, let it go.
For me, like when I argue with people in Lord of the Rings, it's all about actual facts of Lord of the Rings. Like, what was something I got into one time? Jeez, I can't remember. I got into it was not Lord of the Rings. It was Doctor Who, and it was over something silly. It was a little bit of light trolling, just a little bit of light trolling. When you spell Doctor Who, you spell out Doctor. That's the rule.
Oh, here we go.
And someone on a post, they put Dr. Who.
It's not a rule. Come on.
It's an unwritten, unspoken rule that we all go by.
But everyone shortens everything online.
Not with Doctor Who. You don't do that with Doctor Who. There's etiquette with this. You aren't in the fan base, so you don't understand. Yeah. Well, someone did that, and I wasn't even serious. I did asterisk, and then I spelled out doctor. That was
Uh-huh.
all I commented.
That's kind of funny.
That's all I commented. And then you would have thought I said asterisk, you might as well be Hitler.
Really?
You would have thought that's what I said. They blew up on me. Who cares? And I'm like, then I got into you. Well, I mean, that's kind of an unspoken rule. You know, we all spell it out. I was just, doing a little bit of light trolling, haha. All trolling should be illegal. Well, what? Huh? Where did this go? And she's like, my friend killed themselves because they got trolled. And I'm like, hang on.
Well, we don't even know.
Whoa.
Hold on. Maybe.
This escalated. I even was like, this escalated really fast. I was just trying to tell you how to spell the doctor.
That's the thing. I think people take. I don't understand why people can't admit when they do something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's one of the things I really tried to do a lot more recently is just notice when I'm wrong about something and admit it. And it's fine, and learn from it and move on.
That's why.
But people can't, dude.
If I hardly even post like anything that's not memes anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'll post pictures occasionally, and every now and then I'll post a thought on something. Like I posted a status that said, "Congratulations, you're 30 years old now. It now your shoulders now click when you turn in bed.
I think I saw that.
Your
on
shoulders now
Facebook.
click when you adjust your blanket."
Mm.
That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
That's about the most of a status you'll get from me.
Nobody posts statuses anymore, right? When I see someone post a real status, like typed out status, I'm like, whoa, we've gone back.
It happens.
I miss it. I might just be an old guy now, and I just miss the
That's
younger
because
days.
people didn't used to. There used to be no share button.
I kind of miss a time before memes. I love memes. They're hilarious. They're great. But now everything is just memes. Like
I miss troll memes. I miss the troll face memes and the rage comics.
Old. Yeah.
And that's what I miss is rage comics.
One thing I think we've talked about it before, but is I hate text-based memes where they just you can put them in comments all the time because I hate this nobody. And then
Oh, I love memes like that.
I hate it because it's everywhere. It's been dead for so long. Like every now and then it's actually funny.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Where they comment nobody and then something
And then
and then the person said something. It's hard to give an
I know what
example.
you're saying. Nobody, absolutely nobody at all.
Yes.
Me.
Yeah.
I think I see a lot of posts like that, and I even have made posts like I actually.
It was hilarious at first, but it died so quick, but people won't let it die.
I send stuff like that to my wife, but I'll make up my own. I'll put me picks up Zuko, our kitten, and then I said Zuko, and it was a picture of a puppet going ah.
I mean, that's fine. My problem is specifically the nobody, absolutely nobody.
Oh yeah, I can't stand with no one, absolutely no one, literally nobody on the planet. Me.
Yeah,
that's old.
It's very old.
Now,
Like
what
years old.
What I like is when they bring back like old classic memes like SpongeGar.
Dude, SpongeGar was the funniest thing on earth to me when that happened. Now I look at it, I'm like,
Remember that boy?
no,
You don't remember that boy?
no.
Oh shoot! What up?
I forget a lot. No, I used to be kind of a meme lord back in the day too. I was
Shelby
sending
even
memes to
called you
everyone.
meme lord.
I used to send memes everywhere, and people would try to show me memes, and I'm like, yeah, I already saw it. But now I never see memes anymore.
I can't believe you don't remember. It's that boy.
I don't even know what's pop. Oh, that was the funniest meme ever.
It's
that was about the
boy.
same. That was around the same time as SpongeGar, right?
SpongeGar eclipsed it.
Why was that so funny?
It's just because it was the stuff they would put it in randomly.
Yeah.
It would just be like the ET poster, and it'd be like that boy,
Yeah.
and then and the thing is because his thing was it's oh shoot it's that boy, and then he'd go oh shit what up.
Yeah, that was so funny.
And why?
I don't know.
The memes
I
are
don't
just
know.
and SpongeBob is just meme fodder.
Definitely.
Meme fodder.
Let's bring it back. Bring
Yeah.
SpongeBob back.
Let's bring it back to weekday one up.
So I think weekday one up.
Where do we leave off? We kind of
We were talking about it when it ended. Why it ended.
So yeah, it ended. Again, I was ready to ride that all the way, but it was the burnout.
So there were a couple things happening because at that moment we were doing that. Like you said, I was posting a lot on convention reviews. I was working. I didn't have good time management. And also about that same time was Nakamacast.
Yep.
I don't
This
remember-
channel. This was Nakamacast.
I don't
Which is what we were
remember-
saying. Scroll
yeah.
down if you want to find those.
Which one did I leave first? Because I don't remember.
The Comic Cast was first.
Really?
No.
I think it was. Was it not?
They were like right at the same time. No.
No, I rode one out longer.
Nakamacast was first.
And then it switched over. You guys tried something else with it.
Oh, yeah, we tried something else. That also didn't pan out the way we thought it would. And I think part of that was, again, none of us knew plan.
Honestly, when I watched those ones, because I went back and watched some of those too, the ones you guys did after me.
Are those up still?
They are unlisted, but they're on the channel. So you can see it if I send you the
Why are they
unlisted.
unlisted? I forget.
I unlisted a lot of stuff because it felt. Why did I unlist it? Because the quality felt really strange.
Oh, that's right.
They were hard. They were even harder to watch.
Yeah, we had a hard. Without you, we had a hard time figuring out the setup.
Yeah, there was some really weird issues when I tried to watch back in them. But yeah, that was what I was gonna say. It always felt like there were a lot of issues going on.
Mm-hmm.
But
Weekday One Up, I remember being more upset about Nakamacast ending.
Probably because it was the first one.
No, we did Weekday One Up first.
Ending? I mean ending.
Oh,
the first one.
I guess, yeah. I remember when you told me in the car. I was dropping you off from work, and I was on my way to Nate's house to edit some videos from a con we just went to. And I remember you told me in the car because I was...
About which one? The Comicast or Weekday One?
The Comicast. I was like, what? Because I was trying to make plans for doing another show.
And I want to be clear. I'm sure I did not handle that well. I'm sure I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. I'm done with that.
No, what you did was, I remember stuff like this because these are like core memories for me.
Oh gosh.
Because I'll be honest, it hurt. I was hurt. I was hurt by,
And it wasn't just me. Me and Drew both were leaving.
That's what you said.
Yeah.
Because you didn't want to tell me right then. You were wanting to like text me about it later, but I forget what we were talking about. But something made you finally be like, honestly, dude, me and Drew don't even want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Like you're like we were already thinking. And then
I probably just threw it in like that.
And
instead of being like, hey man, I want to like serious conversation.
You're like, me and Drew just don't even want to do it anymore. We're thinking about stopping. And then I just looked over at you. And
I feel like I remember that heat.
I didn't say anything to you. I mean, we were just started pulling in on your road, and when you told me,
yeah.
And I remember I dropped you off, and you got confused.
Did I?
I didn't, because I would always be like, "See you later, dude," and then you'd be like, you got out of the car, and you were like, "All right, well, I'm gonna get out." I just was looking forward, and you're like, "Bye." Like confused as to what was going on in my head, as if you didn't just drop a bombshell on me.
Right.
And you went in, then I just remember flooring it to Nate's and just stewing at Nate's.
Yeah.
Didn't even edit the videos. I just sat there.
Such an idiot.
I think I went and started talking. I think that's when you and I immediately started texting about it. Was when I got there. And
yeah.
Yeah,
it was such an interesting situation because Drew and I had been talking for a while about wanting to leave.
Drew shouldn't have had to want. I love you, Drew, if you watch this. You had no reason to want to leave. All you had to do was show up. That's all he had to do was show up.
Drew is. He doesn't like Drew always likes to leave things. Even Japan. He's only staying in Japan for like 9 days, 8 days or something. And me and Nate are staying for like 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. But I mean, yeah, he even said when he was here, we were talking to him, he was talking about how he just gets homesick. He just wants to go back home. He doesn't want to be places.
And I
feel that.
It was for an hour and a half.
I think
all you had to do was show up.
Maybe he didn't enjoy it.
I think that was part of it. I think he'd sat there because we often would talk about stuff because he was the quote unquote outsider of the group. Because
kind of.
Not that he was an outsider. He was our friend, but he was I knew Nate, you knew Drew, and then
but Drew didn't know as much anime and things at the time, and that was at the same time where we would talk over people.
He knows a lot more now.
Yeah,
he'd probably flourish a lot. I think he even wants to do stuff like that now.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
Yeah, and I think he'd have some good opinions. He's funny. He doesn't like anything. It cracks me up. You'd be like, "Bro, did you see Avatar 2? I thought it was pretty good." He'd be like, "It was trash."
Yeah, I'd love to get Drew on here sometime, but we need another mic. I'm
glad he's going to Central with us. I'm excited to.
Yeah, I'm really excited to hang out with Drew for a longer time.
Yeah, because he's coming with us, right?
Yeah. It was such a short time at Yoma.
Yeah,
But-
he like showed up like the third day and
Yeah.
second or third day, and me and Ariel again running around. So
Yeah, you were more separated from him because you were busy off doing your own thing.
I hung out with his brother more than I did with
Yeah,
him.
I mean,
thought-
we all did.
I think I felt bad for his brother on that.
You know, he's coming to Japan with us too.
Oh, cool. I mean,
Really
that's
cool.
cool. I just at that time I felt bad for his brother because Drew just
He just
here's
left
my
him.
brother. Bye.
Yeah,
Babysitting my brother for
left
me.
him with a bunch of people he doesn't know. I mean, I had met him before years ago, like to the point that I barely remembered meeting him.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was cool though. He's cool.
Yeah, I liked him.
But yeah, Drew and I had both wanted to leave for months, or I don't know if it was months, weeks at least.
You'd been
month.
talking
We
about
had been
it.
talking about it, and I thought we were kind of making it obvious because we were doing that dumb thing that people do where they don't want to say something but they want to, where we're kind of like trying to like give hints and body language and like saying things and putting things off more, and like where now I would just say, hey man, I don't want to do this anymore. But at that time,
I keep waiting
young
for that
and
with
dumb.
this. I'm like, oh man, he's gonna get burnt out on this. I'm waiting for it.
No, I really enjoyed doing this. My only problem recently is just being busy, and now with summer coming, I want to spend more time outside.
Mhm.
Like I have so little time on the weekend, and I'm like, oh, it looks so nice out. But no, I definitely I enjoy doing this for sure. But I don't know what it. Yeah, that was a combination of so many things, and then yeah, I thought maybe you already knew. So when I said it, I was like, oh god. But Drew and I were both talking about like we don't think Dakota knows, and we knew. We were like,
I don't think Nate knew either.
we knew when we told you, you would be really
Yeah,
upset.
you told me in the text. You're like, we both were avoiding telling you this.
Yeah, because we knew, and you're a lot more level-headed now. I think back then you would definitely have peaks of anger. I would say.
I still do, but I mean,
Yeah.
I can, like, if you were to tell me, hey, I'm done doing this, I'd probably be pissed.
Right.
I'd probably, but I wouldn't.
Oh, now I know. All right.
Um,
I can't back out now. Just
but,
playing.
but I wouldn't. I'd get over it a lot. Like, I've never told you this, but when you canceled convention reviews the way that you did, and we never even got to go to that last con,
Can't delete. Yeah.
that messed me up pretty bad.
Really?
And that's not me trying to put guilt on you. I mean, it's just the situation. It messed me up. Like,
It's so crazy to me because I barely even remember it at all. I barely remember canceling that con.
That was, as much as it was your life, that was my life.
But
My
I mean,
life was doing things with you guys.
But-
That was what I did, and I was ready to go all the way with it. And then it ends, and I'm told I'm never going to be going on these. You're talking about possibly never coming home at the time, and
Well, I just felt weird about it as well because I felt like, why do I need to be there for you guys to go to cons and do stuff?
because we did it for the channel.
We did it for the channel, but we also did it to hang out. And
Yeah, but
I just thought it was,
it wasn't the same.
yeah, but to me at that time, it felt like you guys can all go and do the con. Like, I'm burnt out on it. I want to do something else. Like, I'm not stopping anyone.
You didn't say that though. You at the time you were like, yeah, just go do it yourselves.
Well, yeah, like I said, I was much more crass, I guess, back then. I was much...
Your whole thing back then is you used to say, I'm brutally honest, dude.
Yeah, and as I've gotten older, I very much value honesty in people. It's the number one thing I look
There's
for.
a time to be brutally honest, though.
Well, what I've learned is that brutal honesty is a way to say I'm a douchebag and not take responsibility for it. I think it's totally fine. I think honesty is 100% what should be happening in any relationship, friendship, whatever it is. But I think you have to learn how to present things in a better package and really think about what you want to say before you bring that honesty out.
Yeah, like I don't have an example, but I would present you with like, hey, I'm going to do this thing.
That's stupid.
That's stupid. And I'm like, why is that stupid? And then you'd be like, I'm just being honest with you, dude. Wouldn't you rather me be honest with you? I'm just brutally honest.
I would always say, like, look at those people on American Idol who suck at singing, but their whole family and friends were always like, you're so good. And then they go get embarrassed on American Idol. So that was an excuse I would use. Like, I don't want to be one of those friends who like puts you in a position where you're embarrassed.
And that's fine, but it would,
There's a difference.
yeah, you gotta know, and this isn't me telling you, this is anybody that
Yeah.
tries to say I'm just brutally honest or I'm just blunt. It's like, no, you're not just blunt. At that time, you and
For sure.
you cared more about getting your opinion and thought out than you did how someone felt about
Absolutely.
hearing that. You didn't care about how someone felt or how it sounded. You only cared about letting them know what you thought.
Absolutely.
And that's not the right way to go about things. And you know that now. So.
Yeah. I've completely understood that. And
Now, you're still
grown.
blunt when you need to be.
But I think that's the thing. I think that's, if anyone's listening to this or watching this and you're that person who says, I'm just brutally honest, and you do that all the time, I think it's okay. But you have to think about the nuance and the time and place. And if it's a big thing, especially, like, yeah, canceling something like that last con and convention reviews and canceling these shows and things, I think it's much better to have a conversation and just be honest about where you're coming from. And
Because it hit us all like a brick, dude.
yeah, talk about like options moving forward, what can go on. But yeah, at that time, my idea with convention reviews was like, it's my channel. If I want to cancel it, I can cancel it. If I want to do something else. And it didn't help that I was very, very, very burnt out at that time.
Yeah, I think that was part of the reason you were so crass, is you're just like, I'm done.
100%.
I'm done. I don't care what any of
Because
you
in
say,
my own
I'm done.
head, yeah, I've had so much time to just to come to terms with that as well for myself. Because I didn't think I ever wanted to.
You didn't realize what the channel meant to everybody.
For sure.
You thought it was just, oh yeah, they go and hang out with me and I just film it. You know, you didn't realize that, no, dude, you were the de facto leader.
But I still think you guys could have done well. I think part of the reason that didn't happen is because of COVID as well. That nothing could really.
Well, that was you. This happened in 2018.
No, I know, but I came back
2017.
But in 2017, it was early 2018 where I canceled. No, late 2017 I canceled the rest of stuff, and then convention reviews officially announced ending in 2018. Yeah, because I was going to Australia, and
no, you didn't. No, you always had the caveat that you might come back. You never said that you were completely done, which I'd always respected. But I forgot my point. Continue what you were saying.
I was gonna say, yeah, I think that first. So there was that 2018. Let's say 2018, 2019 was that first year. I felt like could just be growing pains. Like, I'm off doing something else. We don't know when I'm gonna be there. What's gonna happen? And you guys did go to some stuff, like around here, local stuff.
Yeah, we did a couple things, but it was never ever to the big extent that we did with convention reviews.
Right, but already by the time 2020 was approaching, I was already thinking, yeah, the next time I go home, I would love to go do another con.
Yeah, because we talked about that.
And then COVID happened. And so I think even if I wouldn't have come home, I think there's a chance 2020, 2021, sometime earlier, you guys may have tried something. I don't know.
I don't know. I think at the time there was no con discussions. Me and Nate never talked about going. I mean, there's the occasional, I think we might pop into Crossroads, but again, this might sound weird for you, but once you left, the magic kind of left.
I mean, I felt that.
You took the magic with you, and it's weird. You know, Nate had the computer, but you had all the editing and know-how and whatnot, and you did it was all your channel, and all of us felt like we had built up that channel to what it was, because it was like at 15,000 when you left. 17.
Yeah.
And we felt like we had, obviously that's like 90% you, 80 to 90% you, but we felt like a good 15, 20, 10% of it was us helping. Like,
well, it's not just helping, it's part of the fun. Part of the thing that made convention reviews what it was, and I think what made it let's say somewhat successful. It was never the biggest convention channel, but somewhat successful. I don't think it was the music videos. Music videos were fun. They were cool. I think the reviews did help. The reviews always got views. People liked that. No one else did that.
Yeah, it was unique.
And still nobody really does that. But I think the other thing was just people got attached to the dynamic of people in the vlogs. And if it was just me, like when I went to con alone, like Matsuri Con, it just didn't feel the same for me, or for I think the viewers as well. When I did that, I'd have to put in a lot more editing on trying to make it funny, trying to make it interesting, where it's fun to just see a group of people go and experience this sort of thing.
Like, we always go back to what Shelby said, an ensemble cast.
Exactly.
It's exactly which is that story I keep working on. I'm basing it on all four of us, because I think you had the perfect dynamic. It was me, you, Nate, Drew as the main four.
Main crew.
And then you had like the the outsiders, you'd have like the people that would come and go as like recurring characters.
I think the
essentially.
main crew has really changed. I don't know. Well, we've only been back to one con. Sorry,
still
I say
the-
two because I went to Crossroads, but
Other than Drew, it's still the main crew.
I mean, I feel like Xavier and Megan are really in there now.
The main original crew.
Yeah, original crew.
They
They
were-
joined later.
They were us four were the original cast.
and
they
Taylor,
were
until Taylor left.
Yeah, Taylor he got pulled on he got pulled onto an unsuccessful spinoff. Or are we the unsuccessful?
Maybe.
Did the spinoff take off for him?
Maybe.
And then our show.
But yeah, I think I did not appreciate that what the ensemble cast brought. And Shelby did mention that back in the day. And I remember not being upset, but feeling like a little bit of like, oh, you're taking away from my work
I
by
think
saying
that-
it's them.
You were super proud of doing because I think you had even a video. You talked about how you were super proud of doing it all on your own.
Mm.
Like it was your channel, you did all on your own. And I never thought about it like this, but back then, because I was like, yeah, he is doing it all on his own. But I never thought about like we're there too.
Well, what it felt like to me, and it doesn't look it doesn't look like that when you watch it because you experience everyone. But at that time, what it felt like, the reason I felt like it's all on my own, which I'm sure you know, of course, is like you guys were just there experiencing a con. You're just having fun at a con. Me too, but I'm spending many hours editing it and putting it together and finding music. And so it definitely felt like, yeah, you guys are just, it's like if I wasn't even there, you'd still be at the con having fun, doing
Exactly.
the same thing. So that's what that felt. I think that's why that felt that way at the time. But what were we talking about?
And I think that might be maybe subconsciously part of the reason you didn't like doing weekday one up.
Oh yeah, we're talking about leaving all of that. Yeah,
Just because I think part of that might be because it's not just me on my own. I'm doing all the work for something that I don't feel like is my product.
100%. Yeah, because I did all the work on those.
But with weekday one up in the Comicast, I had opinions that I wanted in the Comicast. Or I'd be like, hey, maybe you could do this.
But then I was doing all the work. So it would annoy me. Definitely it would. Where I'm like, man, like, because I'm already busy. If I wasn't busy, it'd be different to take those opinions and like, okay, let's mess around with this and see what we can do. But because I was already busy and then you would have opinions, it's like, I don't want to spend more time trying to mess with this. Yeah, definitely. 100%.
But we've all, like I said, I've healed, from, the hurt. We've come back. We're doing it again. I never thought we would. We're here. We're talking. It's essentially we're in the exact same room.
Yeah. But it sounds better.
Yeah, sounds a lot better.
We managed to make this room work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're still going to conventions.
Even though it's less
It's
for
less,
now. I mean,
but-
who knows what'll happen in the future?
We're never going to get to go to those 10, 15, 20 cons a year like we used to.
Did we go to that many?
No. I mean,
don't
we
think
probably
so.
up to 15 probably at one point.
In a year?
Yeah.
That's more than one every month. Not every month. Most months. I don't think so, dude.
Okay, we'll say 10,
I think the most I went to was
Say-
9 or 10.
say 9 to 10 a year,
Yeah.
That
That was maybe 2015, 2016.
yeah, that was 2015 was the year,
I think
dude.
when I look back, I feel like 2015 is the golden year.
It is. Every time I think about like what is the best year like in my adult life so far, it's 2015.
But I think the videos are better 2016 and 2017. But for us, like going to cons and what we were doing,
That
I
was
think-
when we had our first panels
yeah.
that we did.
We copied Deja Vu D, did a Kigu party. That was fun though.
That was
stuff
fun.
cool.
Had a meetup. We had meetups with people. We had that really fun boobs versus butts conversation with our big group.
Wow, I forgot about that. That was at Matsuri, right? The one you went to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that we were talking about last time.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that.
And I made the whole crowd laugh with my theory.
Yeah, I
I'm
totally
not
forgot
gonna
about that,
I'm
man.
not gonna spit out my theory now. If you wanna, I don't really spit that theory out too much anymore. But if you want to find my old
It's
theory,
up.
it's up there. You just got to go through the
MonsterCon
MonsterCon
2015. Pretty sure 2015. Yeah.
and it got a good reaction from that little crowd.
That was really cool going to meetups and stuff. We definitely got to do that again someday. I don't know
Someday.
when. ASIN would be a perfect place to do it, but I feel like we're not ready yet. We're still just coming back. And ASIN, I feel like, is going to be the first real con. I mean, in a way, it was Crossroads
Yeah.
because I did all the videos, but I was still kind of, not everybody was there. I was still kind of like on the fence on how I wanted to do things. I feel like ASIN is the first real like return
Yeah.
in my head.
No, I agree. I keep telling my wife, like I'm just really, really looking forward to ASIN because I've already got my tickets.
Yeah.
I just gotta wait for them to get in the mail. Hopefully,
Yeah.
I got them. They said it had to be processed by. You actually had till April 1st to get the tickets.
You paid the extra $5, right?
Yeah.
For them to ship it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, you
I
didn't
didn't pay
miss
the-
that. Like,
I didn't
right.
pay the extra 20, but
What was the 20 for? Like golden edition or something?
yes, I don't know. But there was like an extra 20 if you wanted something,
Oh,
but I didn't pay for that.
I don't want it.
But yeah, I got both our tickets. Hopefully they come in the mail. Hopefully the payment processed in time. I'm sure it did.
I'm sure it's fine.
But I'm telling my wife, I'm like, man, you're gonna experience. I hate talking crap about Yoma, but I just compared to the first two Yomas we went to or three we went to, this last Yoma just felt like
I think it's unfair because you had situations happen that worsened your Yoma personally.
yeah.
But I do agree that I don't think it was as good as, especially the last one. I still have such good memories of the last Yoma, 2017.
Yes. And I'm also I think we talked about this, so I won't go into detail. The part is the hotel. Like we're not gonna have to travel around near as much. It's not gonna be.
I mean, we're still not in it. Like we
no,
mentioned,
but it's we're
gonna
right
be
across
a
the
lot
street.
better. It's gonna be a
from,
lot better.
If we want to get to the hotel, it's gonna be 10-15 minute walk as opposed to
Max.
25-30 minute
That's Nathan.
haul. What's Nathan want?
That's fine.
Tell him I said I love him.
It's for later. It's about Japan.
Uh,
He texts me all the time about Japan.
there he is again.
Let's turn the notifications off.
So ASIN, yes. What do you think you're most looking forward to on ASIN?
We kind of talked about this, right?
Did
But
we?
I thought we did an episode
You're
all
right.
about
We
ASIN.
did. It's been a minute since we talked about it.
Yeah, but I mean, just a quick refresh for anyone who didn't see it. I think and especially now, things have changed a little bit. After going to Crossroads, what am I looking forward to at ASIN? Nothing. I mean, I guess that's where I'm at right now. Like, what I'm looking forward to is just the full experience. Like, I'm not trying to put anything on a pedestal of like, this is what's going to be fun. This is what's going to be awesome. I just want to be there and see what happens and do it.
I think the last time I was at ASIN was, I think, either 2015 or 16.
We went 2017.
I don't think I went, though.
I can't remember if I did or not. If we went or not.
I'm fairly
We definitely
certain.
did Midwest.
Yeah, I went Midwest in 2017 and Yoma,
Mm-hmm.
and I was ready to go to the other
Connaught.
one, to Connaught, but that didn't happen. But
What happened with Connaught? Because it's hard for me to remember. So what I know is we had a panel that was going to be there.
I mean, it was
Did I have the hotel?
you had
already?
it. You had it all. We were like a month and a half away from going. We were all looking forward to it.
There's no way we were a month and a half.
We were
Oh wait, maybe because hold on.
because it was
I forgot Yoma's in November.
Ariel and I had just moved in together.
I think
Or
you're
we're about-
exaggerating it a little bit. Maybe 2 months because I knew Yoma was my last con, and Yoma takes place right around
Okay, so
Halloween.
it
I think
was
about
2 months to
ahead.
a month
Yeah.
and a half, somewhere in
Yeah,
there.
okay.
When it was not. It was probably right after you got done doing everything with
I wish I could
Yoma.
remember when I can't. No, because I knew Yoma was the last con when I went. We were saying it. Everyone already knew.
You know what? I had been living at Nate's. I wasn't living with Ariel yet,
Oh, okay.
but I had just moved back in with Nate. She was a month from moving in, and then
Oh.
because that's when you texted us and told us, "Hey, I'm not going after before Yoma," and you're like, "Yoma's my last con," and we were all like, "What?" And I'm pretty sure you had the hotel paid for. You had the panel set up. The only thing we hadn't bought was our badges for everything.
That's the big regret is canceling the panel. But I think that's one of the reasons I probably canceled it is because I was so burnt out. I didn't want to do it anymore. I think I felt like I can't face the fans in a panel and look at them and be like, hey guys, this is it. I'm quitting. This is the last con. Like, what do you want to say?
Well, you wouldn't even had to say it there. You could have
But
just.
then I would have felt like I was lying, which I don't like to lie, honestly.
Well, that's when you just gotta get vague. I don't know. We'll see what the future holds. I still
It
got a
just
plan
feels
next
weird.
year.
Like, I can totally see where my headspace was at not wanting to do that panel, but
I think that could be maybe where you're trying to avoid confrontation started.
maybe.
Because you knew, because I think your mindset, like I think because you told me one time your mindset was on, not with this but with a different thing. You're like, it's my channel. If I want to quit, I'm gonna quit, kind of thing, and I'll do what I want. I had a,
What was that for?
I forget what it was. There was something that you, maybe it was with that. It might have been with convention reviews, but
Before we run out of time, I did want to ask, because we started all this with weekday one up, and then we talked a lot about Nakamacast and leaving Nakamacast. But what did you think when I left weekday one up?
I don't
feel like
remember.
you weren't as upset, I feel like, because maybe you saw it coming.
I think I saw it coming, and I'm sure we argued. I don't.
I think I remember this more.
I don't remember the conversation. I remember filming the vlog explaining that we're not going to do that.
I feel like I remember you telling me, like, yeah, I had a feeling it was coming.
I think it was when you stopped Nakamacast, I could kind of start to see the writing on the wall, because it wasn't too long. Because we tried to keep weekday one up going for a little while. Yeah, I think you even switched to two videos a week.
Well, quitting Nakamacast helped me get more energized about weekday one up in the beginning, because it's like, oh, I have more time now. I can focus more on this. Mm-hmm. That was the whole point in leaving Nakamacast as well.
And I think at the time, I know it's not this now, but at the time, I think it felt like you were seeing numbers on convention reviews, and you weren't seeing them on weekday one up, and you felt like you shouldn't be putting in the effort to something.
I don't think so at all. I think that is true on Nakamacast, not weekday one up. I think on Nakamacast, I saw putting hours into filming every week, not hours, hour and a half maybe, but then much more time to edit it. Because you have to remember as well, at that time, my computer was not great.
It was just a laptop.
And to render out hour and a half long footage and then upload it, this was a commitment. Now I could do it pretty quick. Now when I do this, it's pretty easy. But back then, that really was going to take at least a day off of editing anything else I needed to do just to do that podcast every week. And then I would do that, and then I would see, I think I was starting to be able to see too, like, the quality sucks on this. When I watch it and listen to it, it sucks.
And because you weren't seeing the numbers, rather than trying to put more quality into it, you're like, I just don't want to put the effort into it.
That's the thing. Yeah, at the time, I was like, I don't feel like I have the time to put more, or I don't want to put the effort in on it to put more, to improve it.
And I think the thing about Nakamacast, we made it stressful for ourselves, the way we did it. Because not like this podcast, if we have a show or a movie we want to talk about, we'll just talk about it, you know? Or like maybe next episode we can talk about Last of Us, because I'm sure you finished it.
I am.
Okay, so let's talk about that next time, next week. Because it's very good. Where it was, we would have to, if we were doing that the way we used to do it on a Comicast, we have to watch the newest episode, so we can talk about it. And if you don't watch the new episode, like Parasite was the show that was airing when we were doing that, and there would be times where I'd miss the episode, or
we'd be frustrated at you. You'd have to sit out,
for 25 minutes or so, and I'd sit out in the hall, just doodle around, and then you'd come back in, and then so what are we talking about now? And then have to jump in. Now we're talking about Star Wars. Oh, okay.
And not only that, we were so rigid on the topics too.
Yeah.
This was something we discussed when planning. We did months of preparation before starting this podcast to really feel out what we wanted it to be. And that is something we talked about a lot, is like, we don't want to talk about the newest thing. Like, so you may notice sometimes we talk about something new, but we do try to dance around it a little bit and avoid talking about things that are too timely, as well as sticking too much on one solid topic. Like, we let ourselves meander.
Yeah, like today, the topic was originally going to be, what was it? Anime that need a reboot, and then immediately we started talking about Weekday One Up, and we're like, Let's talk about that.
And we would have never let that happen back in the day.
No.
We would have started talking about something else, and I'd say, okay, guys, we're talking about reboots. We need to get back on topic, and just force it into a conversation that's not flowing.
Like we kind of already talked about that. Well, okay, yeah, let's get back. Yu Yu Hakusho could use a reboot, so that'd be good, even though we've already probably talked about Yu Yu Hakusho for 20 minutes.
Yeah, 100%. I think we would not realize that in a podcast, forcing it into a topic, this is not fun to listen to. But
that doesn't mean we're not going to talk about show. Like I think next week, since I'm hosting, we'll probably not the whole show, but I do want to discuss Last of Us with maybe spoilers.
We haven't?
Not the whole show. We haven't met because we haven't met in a month. We missed like 4 episodes.
Right. We didn't talk about the end.
And
episode 8 was I love episode 8.
Dude,
okay, we'll talk about it next time.
So good.
Yeah, we're about out of time. We are out of time.
We're way out of time. So yeah, look forward to more from the Comicast now podcast for nerds. Nerds,
podcast for nerds.
Yes.
And that's another thing really quick. Really quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Compared to how I was before, things are a lot different now, where now I want to make it work. So if I did reach a point with Podcast for Nerds where I'm like, this is intruding into my life in a way that I don't have time for, or there's some problem, I have no plan to just cancel it and leave. I would want to sit down and talk about how can we change things around, because we've already done that in the beginning. We talked a little bit about, should it be bi-weekly? Should it be weekly? What do we want to do? So yeah, I would probably do that. I would have a conversation.
Yeah.
Instead of just I'm out. But
and it helps now. I have a computer now.
That will help a lot. Yeah. So if you
just gotta get.
we can talk about that off of this, but it'd be sick if you could take some of the. Maybe I could make the thumbnails, and I could show you how to edit the video itself. It's easy. It's easy to edit it itself. You know, I would take the thumbnails because
you'll hopefully. You saw my little speed builds?
Yeah.
I'd like to start putting those in here.
I would really like to get that computer here and just show you some things and how to do some stuff, and maybe get Resolve on there and go through it with you a little bit. And
then, what I'd like to do, we'll end this wrapping up what I'd like to do now that I've got a computer. What I would like to start doing, I can do the speed builds now. I just use CapCut for that. But I'd like to start doing my own little 5 to 10 minute intervals, on a topic. Like, all right, we're going to take a break, and you're going to listen to Dakota's opinion about Power Rangers, and I'll have a scripted little segment about Power Rangers, and then we'll come back and continue where we were left off. Start on a new topic, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, let's see what happens. I'd love to look at that. But anyway, yeah, so just so you guys know, we just want to make it better, and, we'll figure out what works best.
Exactly. Look forward to the topic box, which will be
coming next time.
Next week we'll have what's called the topic box, even though I think we kind of have a topic picked out for the next episode. But don't worry. If you have any suggestions that you want to leave in the topic box for us to talk about, comment it below, and we'll throw it in there, and maybe we'll get to it.
And we'll talk more about what exactly that means next week. But
yeah, have any topics you want us to talk about, discuss, let us know right down there. I can't move.
Did you have a recommendation?
Yeah.
Looks like you didn't.
I didn't.
Yeah.
What have I been watching lately? What did I watch? You know what? I watched that movie Mid-90s recently. It's an A24 movie. If you like God of War 2018, the kid who plays Atreus is the main character in that movie.
Cool.
So you'll recognize it because he has some pretty loud screaming fits in that. And so it's like, it's Atreus.
I know that fit.
But that's what I recommend, the movie Mid-90s. I think it's on Tubi right now. If you, that's one of the free ones. But other than that, everybody have a good week. Look forward to the topic box, and we'll see you next time. Stay nerdy.
Bye, guys.
Hey.